What it do? It's your boy Jongma, and today I got another YouTube video for you guys. I'm going to be talking about super teams. LeBron signed with the 76ers a couple days ago, and I was wondering if people would consider that a super team. I haven't really seen that conversation yet. I've seen, the ring chaser stuff, which, I mean, yeah, he's ring chasing for sure. Best chance to get a championship in his own eyes, so he's ring chasing, but I don't know, would we call that Sixers team a super team? I mean, because they have the talent, the bench is there too. Really only knock on them is like health, but would we call them that? I don't know. Anyways, I wanted to talk about some other failed super teams in history. So yeah, let's get started. So when I first think of like super teams and failed super teams, the first one that always comes to my mind personally is the 2012-2013 Lakers. This team, came to be assembled a couple years after the Lakers' fifth championship against the Celtics, or Kobe's fifth championship against the Celtics. Kind of like one last hoorah for Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. So they were able to trade for Steve Nash from the Suns, traded for Dwight in like a big 4-team trade, and they were like the talk of the summer from what I remember. There were so many questions about, can they contend with the Heat? Can they beat the Spurs? Can they get out the West? All of that. But they were seen as pretty heavy favorites coming into the season. Unfortunately, the season didn't go as planned, of course, which is why they're on this list. Dwight Howard was coming off of back surgery in April after the trade, and he quite just wasn't really the same that whole year. Him and Kobe got into some arguments, and yeah, the team chemistry obviously wasn't there. Pau Gasol really wasn't just, and he was in a whole different role. He wasn't really in like the role he was used to playing, and he had a career low season. Steve Nash was also dealing with reoccurring leg injuries throughout the season. He fractured his leg like a couple games into the year, and he couldn't get back into full strength at all, and eventually that ended his NBA career. So how did this team do? Well, surprisingly, Kobe drug him through the mud. I can't lie. I looked up their record and it was better than I remember. They finished 45-37. Solid record, right? Unfortunately, right before the playoffs, Kobe sustained his infamous Achilles injury. But with that Achilles injury, it did give us an iconic Kobe moment.
Kobe Bryant cannot continue. But he's going to shoot the free throws. He can barely make it to the free throw line. And he is hurting. But the Lakers down by 2, and they want him and need him at the free throw line. Got it.
Now after this free throw, I'm going to be very curious to see how he responds, not backpedaling or whatever he has to do to get to the other end, if in fact he gets to the other end before a foul maybe.
I'm not gonna lie though, this Lakers season was like genuinely straight from hell. They started the season 0-4, and they dealt with the most insane injuries I've seen out of a team in a while, especially out of this, like, it was an older team, so it makes sense that they were going to be dealing with an insane amount of injuries. But with Dwight, Steve Nash, Pau Gasol, Metta World Peace was on this team too. Only 3 players played over 70 games. That was Kobe, that was Dwight, and that was Metta World Peace. Pau Gasol missed a percentage of games throughout the season. Kobe himself was dealing with injuries as well, but he just played through them, which probably led to his Achilles injury. Dwight Howard was coming off that back surgery. He couldn't get right. It was just a whole lot of things, really. And a lot of role players, too, missed a lot of time with injuries. So, a fun tidbit when I was doing my research and I found this out. So, they fired Mike Brown after the 1-4 start. And they were talking to Phil Jackson to, come and take over to finish the year. He was the leading candidate, and he requested 2 days, to see if he wanted to take the job or not. 2 days, right? They couldn't give him 2 days. The Lakers talked with Mike D'Antoni the next day, and he was hired as the coach, and they gave him a fat contract. And they preferred his style of play over Phil Jackson's triangle. The season was just honestly terrible, though. They were 15-21 at one point. They were able to contend for the playoffs near the end of the year. They were able to sneak in. They beat the Utah Jazz. They were contending for them for like one of the final spots in the Western Conference. They were able to get the 7th seed a couple games after, Kobe's Achilles injury, but they ended up getting swept by the Spurs. Also, yeah, Jerry Buss, owner of the Lakers, died mid-season around March, but that's kind of why they built this team. One last really good run while his health is declining. And Yeah, it did not end up well at all. I mean, on paper, this team was great too, but this is a cautionary tale. I feel like this is the first modern example of a super team not working that made teams very cautious of how they build teams. I spent way too much on that Lakers team, so I'm about to kind of rush through this one, but it's not as long anyways. The 2017-18 Thunder. Now, before heading into the season, people were calling this, you know, the next big three, you know. Paul George, they acquired in trade from the Pacers for Oladipo and Sabonis, which, funny enough, turned out to be really good. Sabonis became a future All-Star. Oladipo had a great year that year. So it was funny how that trade worked out. But they acquired Paul George. They also traded for Carmelo Anthony. I remember in that offseason, it looked like they heavily improved their roster. And they looked like they could go on a deep playoff run. While I was doing my research for this video, I came across this Yahoo Sports article. And dude was talking about how the Thunder looks so improved this coming season, and I'm gonna put on the screen if you want to pause or just take a look at it really quick. But it's just a really funny read. He's talking about Patrick Peterson being a plus guy. Like, oh my God, I said Peterson. Whoa. Shout out Pat Pete though, but Patrick Patterson being a plus guy. So heading into the season, Sam Presti and the Thunder FO, they seen what Russ was doing last year. The triple-double cocaine bear, as KD called him. He was going crazy. He averaged his first triple-double in a year since Oscar Robertson, like in the 70s. He won MVP, but the Thunder, they lost in 5 to the Rockets in that playoffs. So they went out in the offseason, made some big moves, made some big-time splashes, got Paul George, got Carmelo from the Knicks, and they decided to go into the season with some championship aspirations. Unfortunately, it didn't go that way, and I'm not gonna lie, the way they lost Game 6 to the Jazz. By the way, this is a rookie-led Donovan Mitchell team. Rookie Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. They were able to beat them in 6, and you know, I remember Joe Ingles, he was frying them that series, but that's besides the point. This final sequence I'm about to show y'all, this is the craziest way I've seen a team lose a playoff series. Actually, I'm wrong.
Adams hustling, kept it alive to Felton. George for the tie. One more time.
Take your time. Take your time. Plenty of time here.
Westbrook. Grant kept it alive. Another offensive rebound. And a whistle, timeout, Billy.
Seconds on the clock here. You do not need a three, but it looks like go strong. You have to go
inside.
strong.
Adams got it back.
He got it back.
For the tie, Westbrook.
Can you believe they just got
out of bounds? It'll be a review to the Thunder. Into Adams.
Now here he comes around
Paul George. Got Gobert up in the air. Didn't get the foul call.
Oh boy.
He was looking to draw the hit.
You got to foul. You've got to foul.
You got to stop the clock. Ingles with the ball.
Will somebody foul somebody?
8 seconds to go.
The Thunder ended off that season losing to the Jazz in 6. Carmelo departed in the offseason. They traded him to the Hawks, really to clear luxury tax and whatnot. They called him a Hawks legend. It's like a super niche internet thing, if you remember, you know. But next year, they went into the playoffs, ran back the same roster. Russ was still really good. Paul George was still really good. I also throw in Paul George. I think he was dealing with a shoulder injury in this specific Jazz series. But rookie Donovan Mitchell, come on. But the next following season, they ran it back, lost to the Trailblazers off that crazy-ass Dame shot. Paul George was on record saying that's a bad shot. And Dame essentially sent that franchise into a rebuild. It's all cool though, because they have a ring now. But that was wild to just like kind of look back and see how they lost and kind of see how they even ended up there in the first place. So quick detail before I move on to the next team I'm gonna talk about. I was looking at the playoff stats for this Thunder team in that series against the Jazz, and I was looking at Carmelo specifically. You know, I'm going down the list and reading everybody's stats. They look like typical playoff stats, but I see Carmelo, and goddamn, boy, you are a terrorist. There's no way you went out on that floor and shot that shit and you thought it was okay. If I was the Thunder and Sam Presti, I would have traded you too. So the last team I wanted to touch on was the 2013-14 Brooklyn Nets. I was really thinking about talking about the 2021 Brooklyn Nets, but I feel like that's more engraved in everybody's minds, and we all know they failed because of injury. The 2013 Nets failed because of they just sucked. I ain't gonna lie. There's no other excuses. They just sucked. And age. They was old as hell. That roster they honestly, on paper, right, it looks like a very solid roster. But, like, This was 2013. Most of these guys were old and coming out of their prime. Now, if we took it back like 5 years, oh, I'd probably be championship favorites. But nonetheless, you know, these niggas was old. They had, I think KG was 37, Paul Pierce was 35. Just an old ass roster. And in the offseason, they went crazy. I think they signed Deron Williams in free agency. They traded a lot of their future capital for Paul Pierce and KG. They got Joe Johnson. They got Joe Johnson. You know, they have a nice team on paper, but unfortunately, games aren't played on paper. They're played on the court, and this team did not show that on the court. So they ended up finishing the regular season as the 6th seed. I think 44-38. It'll be on the screen. They played a young Toronto Raptors team with DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. They beat them in 7. They barely beat that team in 7. Next round, they played the Heat, lost in 5. After that, they just kind of gave up. Paul Pierce was traded to the Wizards in the next offseason. KG was traded to the Timberwolves mid-offseason or mid-next season. Joe Johnson signed somewhere else, or Deron Williams signed somewhere else, and they kept Joe Johnson for another year. But that was like the most short-lived, short-run super team ever. It wasn't even a super team, just super ass. The fact that they mortgaged their future for that, aging players, they were already on the decline. Sean Marks was the GM. I feel like since when it happened, and even in real time, he was catching a ton of slack for it. But today, I feel like we just don't talk about that enough. That would never fly in today's NBA. I feel like you would never see that in almost any other era but then. That's such a bad trade then, and it's a bad trade now. That trade literally gave the Celtics Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and they got that 2024 chip off of them. Off of the strength of the Brooklyn Nets being dumb. They also used one of those picks to trade for Kyrie Irving, who requested the trade from the Cavs, and that pick was used on Colin Sexton. All 3 of those players, bro, if the Nets held onto those picks, been way better than the 1-year rental of Paul Pierce, KG, and that super team of super ass. But also doing research, I seen this, like, you know, before the season preview, right? This dude gave him an A for their offseason. Are we for real? Like, I know it's in hindsight, but like, I wouldn't have given that an A even in real time. Maybe I'm tripping, man. They gave us this iconic video, so I can't be mad at the end of the day.
You light my fire.
If you did enjoy my video, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. If you got any other video ideas that you want me to do, drop a comment down below. Just any constructive criticism, any advice, anything, man, I like to hear it. Other than that, I think that's all I got for y'all.